We're live.
What's going on, guys? Joe from SRHQ. Thank you, and thank you for coming to a special live broadcast from the SRHQ channel. I'm joined by a special guest tonight, Michael Richter from Richter Knives. Michael, how you doing?
Doing great, man. I'm glad to be on here. Awesome.
Yeah. I am on a phone. I'll be doing this on a phone, so it's really hard for me to keep up with the chats, but I will be looking over the chats every now and then. If I see something I can respond to, I will just go ahead and talk about it because I can't type as I'm doing this. But me and Michael wanted to talk about our top 3 Great Eastern Cutlery Knives today. It's been a long time since I sat around and talked about knives, so forgive me if I'm a little unpolished from the beginning, but we're gonna see what we can do. Michael wanted to start. We're gonna go through 3 knives. We got about a half hour to get this done, so hopefully we can stay on track and get it in.
All right.
Big
I'll go ahead
J,
and
how
get
you
started.
doing?
Looky there. Hey, Big J. Hey, everybody in the chat. Richter Knives, if you don't know me, I should be your favorite knife tuber. Just kidding. Hey, I want to start with this one. This is a GEC 93. We're going to talk about like 3 of our top GECs. I picked this one because this is the one I like to carry the most. I think it's one of the most utilitarian ones there is. This is a Great Eastern titty version of the 93 pattern ram's foot. It's got the ram's foot blade, natural canvas micarta. And it kind of came a little orangish. This is kind of patinaed up and got real dark. Has the hot dog shield on it. Brass pins, brass liners. It has half stops. Pretty snappy too. Probably about a 7 pull. Very snappy. Love this thing. Same pattern as the 47 Viper. Just doesn't have the Warncliffe. So draw cuts are really good with this. Utilitarian, man. That blade right there is super utilitarian. You barely love this thing. I actually got this one. This was the first GC I bought on online, I guess. It's the first drop I got. I got it from Frank's Knives. And actually, this particular one is not the same one I bought. I ended up trading that one and getting this one back because I missed it so much. They have a bunch of different flavors as far as like covers go. Jig bone. They got a bunch of different ones, like an Oily Creek bone, I think they call it. But this particular cover right here is the one I like the most. It's just like a super work knife. Great size. Tough as nails. Love this thing, man. That was my first one. Joe, you want to show one?
Yeah, well, first off, I had one of those. I can't remember exactly what the jig bone was, but it was the one with the ram's head shield down at the bottom of the handle. That was just a classic knife. I love that sway back handle with the sheep's foot blade. I mean, it reminds me of the anchor knives. I mean, I like collecting the anchor knives. Just a total solid knife from Great Eastern Cutlery. I don't have any of them currently. I did have a micarta version. I believe I had the exact same one you had, and I had that jig bone version. So the one I want to show, it's one I just recently started using. It's my 2006 73 Scout Trapper. First, I'll show you guys the tube. The tubes have changed a little bit over the years. But if you are one of the lucky ones to have a 2006 knife, 2 things are certain. One is that it's a trapper because they only made 2 knives in 2006 the knives that are stamped 2006. It was the 23 and the 73. The 23 was based on the Remington bullet trapper. The 73 was based on the Remington baby bullet. And the second thing that is certain is that you did not get the knife in 2006 because no GEC knives were sold in 2006. Even the ones that were stamped with 2006, they were, most of the production was done in 2006, but they actually didn't hit the store shelves until 2007. So this one, the 73 Scout Trapper, this is in herringbone. Sorry about that. Herringbone jig, walnut colored. They did 3 of the unexcelled versions of this first run. They did a moss green jig as well as a stag. Altogether, they made 250 of these. The way that GEC did their numbering system in the beginning, it wasn't necessarily this blade. The second blade, I mean, it's covered in patina, but the second blade said 1 of 250. So that 250 was 250 for the stag, the moss green, and the herringbone jig. I believe they made 163 of this one, but it's a very nice knife. I had it in my collection for a long time, kept it as a gem, never used it, always wanted to use it. Someone actually offered to buy it from me, offered me quite a bit of money. I didn't want to sell it, so I went and I just started using it. I cut an apple with it, put a little patina on it, and now it's just one of my main users. And I really like the 73 pattern. I believe the 23 would be a little bit too big for me. It's 4.5-inch handle. This one's 3 3/4. So really compact size. You have this clip point blade, clip point main with the nail neck. And the thing that I like about these jumbo trappers is the spay blade. Spay blade is a very nice looking blade. And I find this to be just a really utilitarian blade. I use it a lot in the kitchen, use it a lot at work, box cutting, stuff like that. Has this shield on it. This is probably my favorite unexcelled shield, or favorite Great Eastern Cutlery shield. And the herringbone jig is a jigging pattern that you don't see very often. So yeah, this is my 2006 Scout Trapper in herringbone jig, and this is definitely one of my top 3 GECs.
Yeah, that's got to be one of your top 3. 2006, you don't get no earlier than that.
Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah. So I believe you have one that's similar to this frame.
I do. 70, you got a 73. This one's a 74. Most of these are, well, this one only, I think they only believe, I can't talk. I believe they only made 38 of these. This is a 74 Stallion in smooth white bone. And I think most of them are an S model. As a matter of fact, the last one I had is an S model. The same thing going back to this one right here is I had this knife before and traded it off and missed it. I thought I'd never get one of these back because just like I said, there's only 38 of these things. The Stallion to me is, one of the best looking GC patterns, blades, just the whole setup is just beautiful to me. If you look at that swedge right there, that is just aggressive, beautiful. It looks mean to me. It looks really mean. Great size, half stops. This one right here is a titty version. They did make a, what do you call it, a Northfield unexcelled version. And I don't know the differences between the two, but I don't think there's much. This one has the threading right here, like 3 little threads on there. It says smooth white bone on the tube, but you could tell if you're looking at this thing, it looks yellow. There's a lot of character. This thing is beautiful. And there's 2 different 74s, I believe. There's the Stallion, and then I've got the Mustang too. I'll just kind of compare those real quick. Can't spend a lot of time on this one knife because we've only got like 30 minutes, but here is the Mustang. and the stallion. So, and also this one, just like the other one, is pretty much the same frame as the 47 Viper. They just turned it around. So if you look at it like this and picture a one cliff here, same thing. Beautiful knife. Glad to own it. Only 38 of them. I don't think I'm going to try to get rid of this one. I've been a big horse trader in the past, and Joe knows this. I've traded a lot of knives with Joe, but there's some that you miss, and you just got to get them back. This is one of them. I'm gonna keep it with me. I really dig it. There's that one.
Yeah, that was a cool knife. When we were talking beforehand, that could also very well be the same frame as the 71. Like we were putting it up next to each other because it looks really similar. It's just the 71 is really hard to tell because it never has, jig bone or anything on it. So I just wanted to say I noticed there was like a little lag in our stream. So I don't know if that's just on my end or if everyone's seeing that. And I do see you guys in the comments. Warthog, splitting slices, Sanctified EDC, Randy's WSG, Mark Herrera, Zen Ali. I'm sorry, these are just flying by, and I don't have
Yeah.
time I can't keep up with them. So I do see you guys. I appreciate you guys being here, but we just can't keep up with the comments. So one thing I forgot to mention before the show, this is not about a knife, but I did have to go find a certain prop for the show, and I had to go to 6 different stores. I went to 4 different stores until I looked online as to where I could buy it, and I went to that store and they still didn't have it. And I finally went to another store and I finally found Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar, and you guys can see it's the American football edition. So, Michael, cheers! Thanks again for coming on with me. Yeah, that Mustang. How many did you say that was? One of 38, 37?
38. And I believe
38.
the titty version is one of 38. And then the Northfield version, I believe, is 13 only.
Yeah, I don't think I have a knife that rare. I have one of 50. I have one of 49, but yeah, not that rare. All right, so I'll go on to my next top Great Eastern Cutlery. It has to be the TC Barlow. I've had quite a few of these. I've had actually 8 TC Barlows. I currently have 2. And this one's my favorite one. I had a bunch of them. I've had saw cut bone. I've had the antique. I had one that was custom recovered by Javi Garcia. I had a bunch of them, but this one was always my favorite one. And yeah, one by one, they just I got rid of them. And I have this one, and I also have the Osage wood. But that's all the TC Barlows that I have. But I can remember, early when I was collecting, I just couldn't find these. I mean, these were rare, like the Fremont Jacks. You couldn't find them, and even if you could find them, you couldn't afford them because people just wanted crazy amounts of money for them. I was fortunate to. I always hunted them. I was just fixated on them. I got a few. I traded a few. Um, when I was, really getting into trading and stuff like that, these knives weren't as rare as they are today. We were much quicker to trade them off and get something new. And I was telling Michael before the broadcast that if I think about some of the knives that I've traded away or given away or sold or whatever, sometimes I just want to cry. But I'm thankful for what I still have. And this is definitely my favorite Barlow. Just a classic Barlow design. It's one of my favorites. I love the ebony wood. I have several knives in ebony. Just a classic look. You can't go wrong with steel and ebony. This one, the fit and finish on this one, my other one, and pretty much all the other ones I've had has just been phenomenal. This one's got lots of use on it. I love the long pole. I love the swedge. I love the way this blade looks. I love the way the blade performs in use. The sheep's foot blade is very useful.
Oh, yeah.
the all steel construction. I love the bolsters, patina as well. And I just love the exclusivity of it. I mean, I had to try so hard to get this knife, you know, and I finally got it, and I love it. The ones they're doing now are great. I believe they're making a little bit, a few more of them nowadays than they used to. But yeah, I had to really hunt for a lot of my knives, some of my knives, and this is one of them. And that makes, you know, owning it that much more special, if you ask me. So my second top GEC will be my 15 TC Barlow. This is from 2017, I believe, in ebony, Gabon ebony. And Michael, I believe you have a TC Barlow, don't you?
I do. This one's a 2016 TC, and it's the Amber Jig Bone, I believe it's called. And I looked
Yeah.
for a long time to get a TC Barlow. I ended up getting a spear point, uh, and it was a saw cut version, but it wasn't as pinchable, and that's kind of what I wanted. I wanted a sheep's foot or a clip point because you can just pinch that open, where the spear point you couldn't. But this is one of my grails. I can say that I really bad wanted one, and but I wanted the right one. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you'll get a knife and it's just wasn't what you really thought it was going to be. This is pretty much everything I thought that TC was going to be, and I remember seeing a bunch of them when they, you know, I first got into knives, and that was one of the top ones that I really want to get a hold of. So I'm glad I got this one, and I really like that jig bone too, and that color. This color on a pocket knife to me is just it's perfect. It pretty much brings me to my third one because it's almost the same color. And this right here I got from Blade Collector 7. I don't know if you're on here or not, Wes, but I got this one from him. I pretty much bugged him about a trade for about a year, maybe even longer. And, and I seen him post this, and he had it perfect, pristine condition. And he had posted these pictures on Instagram, and I was just bloody smitten. I mean, smitten with this knife. It has like an X cross jig bone. I'll try to get a little closer so you can see. In that yellow and brownish color. And this right here is my favorite shield on a GC knife is the unexcelled. It just looks classy to me. This 78 right here, the back side is a little darker, which it gives it. I'm probably lagging. I don't know. My internet's being crazy, but check out that dark side right there. It looks really good. And what another thing I like about this knife is this is my favorite knife by far, easily my favorite knife. This and my cattle knife kind of go back and forth, but they're really close to being the same. I'll show you. You know, really close. They both got that spear point. I'll show it to you real quick, but it's got the long pull. You can spidey flick it. Oh, no, you can't. Let's see. Look at the patina on that. Over the years, this is probably my most carried pocket knife. And to me, when you say the word pocket knife, this is what I draw up in my mind's eye. It's simple, it's sleeve board pattern. No, as a matter of fact, me and Joe was talking about this, but this is the same frame for the Fremont Jack, the Northwoods Fremont Jack, but the Fremont Jack has the blade on this side, on the taller side. So really sweet pattern. Half stops, great walk and talk. You can actually pinch this open. It doesn't look like you could because there's not a lot of blades sticking up out of there, but if you just put your thumb meat in there, you can just pull it right open, and it's snappy. And probably that's about a 6.5 pull, which to me is just about perfect. Not too hard. You're not breaking your nail. and you can get it out without thinking about it. This 1095 sharpens up screaming sharp too. I love to keep this one real sharp, keep this one in my pocket. Sometimes I don't even put this in a slip. I just tote it in my pocket. But yeah, this is one of my favorite knives. Twain Thing 68 says, I have yours, one of 37. Nice cigar pattern. It's a man's knife for sure. Sure enough, that's a man's knife right there. I just wanted to show y'all this one. This was my third GEC that I wanted to show today. And my favorite. I want to save the best for last. I got a lot of GECs, probably right now about 25 of them ish. But this one and the cattle knife seem to be taking up most of my pocket time. And you can see why. They also make this in a 2-blade version, and the secondary is a pen knife, I believe. What you got, Joe?
Yeah, well, first off, I also love the 78 pattern. I've had several of them. I only have one knife on the 78 frame currently, and that's the Northwoods Big Bay.
Oh yeah,
In the burlap micarta, this is on the
that's
78
sweet.
American Jack frame, and of course the Fremont Jack is also on the 78 frame. I've had a couple 78s in the past. I had one in ebony that was really nice with a cloud shield. I also had one from the GP Knives exclusive in black micarta.
Yeah, I did too.
That was awesome, and I traded it to you if I remember
Yep.
correctly. Um, yeah, but that GP Knives
Yeah,
one
that
was
one's sweet. Black micarta. It was nice. It's one of them ones I wish I didn't trade.
yeah, it's one of those knives I wish I didn't trade it as well. I think I traded you your two copper locks for that knife. I think it was like a 2-for-1 kind of deal. But that was back before COVID, and when it was a lot easier to ship stuff to the US and to Germany and stuff like that. But I will go ahead and get on with my last knife. Did I hear you correctly? Did you say you got your last knife from Blade Collector 7? Did I hear you say that, Michael?
I say I got what?
Your last knife, did you get it from Blade
I
Collector
broke up.
7?
Yes, I did.
I got the knife I'm going to talk about from Blade Collector 7.
Cool.
Not planned. Yeah, there's a little 14. Where's the 2? There's this, I forgot what it is. Antique amber jig bone from 2018. They made a lot of 14s in 2018. I think there were over 30 different SFOs with different cover options that you could have gotten a 14. So if you like the 14 pattern, yeah, that was the year to get it. I got this one from Blade Collector 7, and since we'll talk about him real quick, I really like dealing with Blade Collector 7. I haven't traded with him or bought from him in a long time, but I always really enjoyed it because he would always give me a good GEC at a really great price. And I even looked up what I paid him for this before the show, and I paid him $110 for it. And it wasn't brand new, but it was pretty much unused condition. So he's always giving me great knives at a fair price. But this 14, a lot of people say the 14 is too small. I've seen a lot of videos where people say, they're only good for cutting threads off clothing and stuff like that. My first GEC was a 14, and I love that knife. I used it on everything. And when I heard people saying, it was, this little like sissy knife kind of thing, man, it made me angry. Like I took it to work. In my job, we get lots of deliveries. It means lots of boxes. We're opening boxes, we're breaking down boxes, cutting through cardboard, cutting through tape. I remember posting on Instagram. I had like a mountain of cardboard, boxes that I got through with this knife, and I was so proud of it because it is a small knife, but in my opinion, it can do big jobs. It is a small handle, but I don't lock myself into just the handle grip. I move all up and down the handle and the blade. When I'm using the knife, depending on which cut I'm doing. But yeah, for me, the 14 has always been a staple in my collection. I've always had a 14. I've always had a 14 user. It's a great watch pocket knife. It's a great knife to just drop directly in the pocket. I don't have a slip for this. One of the few knives I don't have a slip for, just because it doesn't need it. I really like how Great Eastern Cutlery does their jigging.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, there's not really like raised peaks and valleys and bumps and stuff. It's more like cut into it, which I think looks really cool. This side on mine is also lighter than the back side. It wasn't always like that. It's just I always drop it in my watch pocket the same way, and I just think through sweat or rubbing on my pants or whatever. It's faded a little bit, but it's not bad. But yeah, I love the long pull. I love the
Oh yeah.
swedging. You know, if you look at a Great Eastern Cutlery blade, they're just a lot better looking than the next competitor. I mean, they really take their time with their blades, with their swedging, with their uh, nail marks, and yeah, they're just really great looking blades. And the action on all these Great Eastern Cutleries that I have, I mean, I don't think I have a single one that the action is off, or that I would want to send back or anything like that. But yeah, I really enjoy the 14 pattern. Like I said, it was my first GEC I ever owned. That one was in a knife bright acrylic. And yeah,
I
I
know.
have this one. I also have a Harrison Bay um, Northwoods. And I used to have a TC Barlow 14, but I recently got rid of that one as well. So yeah, that is my 14.
That's a good looking knife, Joe. That's probably the best
Have you?
looking 14 that
Yeah,
I've seen because the color of it, the patina on it, and everything. It has a. It's not a bare head. It's not a Barlow. I really like that one.
I like that it doesn't have a shield.
Yeah, that.
Um, they did make a lot of the 14s in 2018, but they didn't make very many without the shields. And I think with such a small frame, the shield sometimes can take away from the overall look of the knife. I really like the color of the jigging, and yeah, just steel bolsters. They patina up, you know. But yeah, we don't have time to go through all these knives with like a fine tooth comb and show you all the fit and finish. But they're Great Eastern Cutleries. I mean, they're really good. So yeah, those are our top three. We have a couple more minutes. Can I throw a surprise on you, Michael?
Heck
I mean,
yeah.
we kind of did this a little bit beforehand, but I figure we have um, 2 minutes left. I was wondering if I could maybe get you to pop a knife open with your thumb, for everyone. I was trying to
Oh
show
Lord.
him that the trick to it is to just not be scared of it. By the way, let me just prove real quick. This one is nice and
Sharp.
sharp. I told him the trick is just put your thumb on. Don't think about it. Just push up. Don't think about cutting yourself. Don't do anything. So I'm gonna bring you up big. Are you up for the challenge? You can also say no. I mean, you don't have to.
No, that's there we go. This one's pretty sharp too. It's actually scaring me right now,
Yeah.
but I'm doing it. I think I got enough calluses on my thumb from flicking open knives that it doesn't really cut you.
All right. Well, we did it. Well, Michael, I want to thank you for coming on and being a guest. It was a little rocky in the beginning. I'm getting grilled by all these lights around me. It's like hotter than hell in here. Um, but yeah, it was fun. I like kicking back, talking about knives with you. I appreciate you coming on, buddy.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me on. It's pretty awesome. Um, I watched you and your YouTube for years, and I've done that probably since you started. I've been a knife guy and lurking in the comments and things like that, and we ended up doing a trade. I think on an auto messer or something like that, and that's how I got to know you. But
Yeah, well,
we've
we've
been
been
pretty
friends
good
for a
friends for
long
a long
time.
time. Glad to be on your show, man. It's pretty fun talking about GT.
Yeah, and we need to do this again. We need to talk about it and refine it and make it better. But thank you guys for being in the chat. I'm sorry we couldn't keep up with it. I did see you guys. I'm going to be heading over to RJ's in a little bit.
Same.
I'm also going to be staying up way past my bedtime tonight. I'm going to be heading over to Big J's happy hour live chats. That's the plan, at least, as long as I can keep myself up. But yeah, thank you guys for coming. Hope you enjoyed the show. And yeah, we did it.
Same here. Thanks for everybody in the chat hopping on here. We enjoyed it. It's fun. I was reading through there, and I read every single comment. So appreciate y'all, man.
All right, guys, have a good night. I'll see you guys in a bit over at RJ's.
See y'all.